So what I'd love to do is share a little bit from Lilith with you now. Lilith is my novel that was mentioned in the intro. This is the beginning to part 3. It's entitled Creation. And the sub of this part is called There Is No Beginning or Ending, Only Magic. Chapter 8, Shakti. The 10,000 eyes of the Great Mother. Ripples of water rocked as if the entire world fit into a small bowl that was being shaken by a sumo wrestler. Dark liquid lapped at the tips of mountains, which never gave up their intention to protrude through the choppy waves. A piercing gold hue thrown off by a great disk of light hovered high above the stratosphere. It threw a flood of brilliant, colorful shadows on the murky sea. Deep underneath the surface, the great planet slumbered in silence, blanketed by the darkness of her depths. The golden disk yawned, spewing a green and purplish mist of tiny bubbles full of potential, which turned orange and blue as they swarmed like a hive of bees toward the water. "Are we dead?" gurgled the she-being. "There is no such thing," belched the masculine counterpart, this time in rust and rich umbers. "It's stickata. It's, came a hissing from far in the distance, not unlike a serpent. "What the heck is that?" blinked the female voice again in the inky darkness of the waters. "It's... What? How should I know?" retorted the infinite emptiness. "I thought you were the container of everything, the place of all knowingness." "Yes, but in order for this to occur, I need..." His voice gathered what seemed like endless air. Brrrah! This great belch released a third cloud of bubbles, this time in earthy reds and golden yellows. "I just thought, whoa!" exclaimed the maiden voice, as her attention was drawn into a memorial white corridor. The enameled smooth chamber stretched from a great distance and disappeared into the infinite vastness. It glimmered unreal, bright in its shiny brilliance. After an eerie stillness for what seemed like an eternity, she noticed there was no sound. It was as if every sound had been swallowed up. The she sound wondered in silence what would happen next, if there ever was a next. The he sound held his invisible arms open, cradling the event, giving it a place to exist in the vast container of his beingness. All at once, in the spark of a moment, a dark shape appeared in the depths of the distant passageway. It seemed to grow in size and momentum as it slithered and wound its way forward into the instantaneous present. The vision of the endless corridor slowly became clearer. Vibrant colors and fantastic hues flashed reflective on the glistening lacquered walls. The single point of darkness that had appeared in the center of the distant profundity steadily grew, slowly coming closer and closer to the present moment. "Utstikata Matea! Utstikata! It's," hissed the voice of the moving energy. "This is freaking me out," the she voice managed to squeak. "Just go with it," coaxed the masculine space, reaching his ever-growing embrace wider and wider, becoming the universe. "Follow the sound." Then, on his commanding encouragement, with all of her energy balled up tightly, the she voice transformed into a floating face in the glinting white of the passageway. The dark point continued to grow closer and closer. It seemed to be swaying side to side as details began to emerge. Huge eyes, the colors of a preternatural rainbow, sat atop thick, moist, gleaming lips that appeared to be made out of thousands of glass beads. As the face came closer, countless colors of an unreal palette bounced, reflected by the white walls of the corridor. The she-being, in the form of a floating face, gulped as she floated in the rectangle of space. The multicolored rainbow serpent gained velocity like a high-speed train. This caused the floating face to squint, imagining great pain upon the imminent impact. Stopping on a point tinier than a dime, the eternal serpent was now face to face with the she-being's floating face. There were no words exchanged, but a deep, unblinking stare engaged the two sets of eyes. The serpent began to speak in a booming, telepathic tone without moving her lips. "Open your mouth," commanded the serpent. Open my mouth? What on earth for? Questioned the she voice. Open your mouth, instructed the telepathic voice. Open my mouth? What the heck is this all about? Pleaded the she voice, sounding a lot more frightened than before. Open your mouth, demanded the great snake. Just do it, a male voice yelled from nowhere in particular. The female form imagined opening her mouth, and what would happen? Without any control, compelled by an unseen force, her jaw opened, flipping the top of the face back. The serpent flooded into the gaping mouth, and in an instant, the two were once again face to face. The gleaming lips of the serpent yawned open as the telepathic voice commanded, "Enter me." Any drops of fear vaporized as the floating face dove into the serpent's throat. This isn't so bad, thought the she-being, who was opening her mouth in a spontaneous gesture without thought or control. Again, the giant snake lunged into the female's mouth. Once again, the two floated facing one another in the gleaming corridor. The weaving back and forth of mouth diving continued, and after an eon, there was only one being. She was the complete union of the previous two beings. She was marvelous, a combination of the pure consciousness of the divine feminine and the powerful energy of prana combined with the goddess power of creation. The completed celestial she form combines with the universal receptive masculine energy in a state of jiva. They are drawn together by the magnetic force of universal energy known as prana, held together by the glue of desire. After the formation of the great goddess, she went on to be known as Ma Shakti, the Divine Mother. She is now known by thousands of names in many different tongues in every corner of existence. She possesses the womb of creation. She is the fertile ground where all seeds of thought are planted and then made manifest in nature by the vibration of sound. Her voice is the celestial music which vibrates in every quark. It is her energy which combines with the vast nothingness to make everything we perceive real and full of substance. It is against her breast, cradled in her arms, that we desire to be rocked and nurtured. She is our true mother, the one who heals our wounds and paves our path of learning. She gave birth to all of nature as we know it, and in her enormous heart, she understands our quirks and needs. The newly congealed female being began to squeak in the original tongue. Utstikata matea, utstikata, utstikata, utstikata matea, uts. Thank you.